Good afternoon, everyone. Meteorologist Andrew Wilson here with our weekend weather update that we like to do every Thursday to keep you updated on what you can expect for the week ahead and also for this weekend. Now, it is looking like we are going to be dealing with some hot conditions again and also some drier conditions as we head into the weekend after we dealt with a lot of rainfall here over this past week. But the good news is that it is going to be drier by the time we head into this weekend. So let's jump right into things and talk a little bit more about it. Again, looking absolutely stunning out there for today. It is going to be a little bit hotter for this afternoon. Right now, seeing a lot of sunshine here across North Georgia. We're going to continue to have a lot of sunshine as we head into this afternoon and then for the next few days. And it's going to be pretty nice out there. Just going to be, again, a little bit hotter by the time we head into the weekend. So let's take a look at things right now all across North Georgia. Things are looking pretty nice. First of all, we look out towards the airport. Things moving smoothly out there, not seeing any delays. And out towards the King and Queen building, so nice that we put it on there twice. It's looking beautiful outside. Just seeing a few passing clouds here and there. Now looking out on our camera down towards Crystal River, Florida, you may have noticed this yesterday when we were doing updates. We were talking about Crystal River where they were dealing with some flooding. This is from one of the Florida Department of Transportation cameras right into one of the busier intersections in Crystal River. This is actually a smaller town that's located on the Big Bend of Florida, and yesterday this road was covered in water. There were actually boats and fan boats going up and down these roads. But now everything's been cleaned up. The crews have been working hard down there in Florida to clean up all the wreckage. Now this town did not have a ton of damage compared to some of the other towns like Steinhatchee and some spots further up the Big Bend of Florida, like closer on towards Cedar Key as well. But they did have a lot of flooding from surge. It's nice to see things are recovering. And the rainfall that we had yesterday from the system has now moved its way out. We now just have drier conditions out there. Satellite and radar shows where the system is now. Look at that big swirl off the coast of the Carolinas. That is going to be Idalia, and Idalia continues to make its way away from the U.S. and continues to kind of fall apart a little bit due to the fact that it made its way over land for such a long period of time. Closer look at it shows that it is still putting down some rain there, closer on over towards the Outer Banks of North Carolina. They are also dealing with some tropical storm force winds. This system, again, going to continue to kind of move away from the United States, being less of an impact for us. Now, a lot of you were likely able to continue to track Idalia as it made its way across the region thanks to the 11 Alive app. You can keep an eye on tropical systems, you can keep an eye on rain, you can also send in your weather wow moments, watch our newscast live, and then of course get the forecast. Right now, that's the actual temperature outside. It is 84 in Atlanta. Going to be mostly sunny this afternoon as temperatures rise into the upper 80s to lower 90s in a couple of spots. And again, going to be drier out there. So don't forget to download that. Let's talk about what else is going on out in the tropics. We have Tropical Storm Jose. Not going to be a threat to the U.S. We'll keep an eye on it. We have Hurricane Franklin still, which is really not looking good. It's really encountered a lot of shear and not really looking as robust as what it did yesterday. Look at all that shear coming off the coast of the United States. You see how all this is kind of moving in this direction. That's that shear kind of shredding apart storms, taking the top off of them and causing it to lean. So a tropical system is vertically stacked. It should be up and down. That's why you see it spinning like a top, why you see the eye whenever it's a more uniform, robust storm. But whenever you have strong winds higher up in the atmosphere than down low, it can cause a storm to lean. Think about if you were to thump a top that was spinning, like what you probably did when you were a little kid. It causes it to kind of get out of whack and mess up. Well, that's what shear does to tropical systems. So the hurricanes would lean, kind of fall apart, and Hurricane Franklin is really starting to fall apart compared to what it was at yesterday. Yesterday it was a strong hurricane. Now it's really kind of fallen to a 2, going to be a Category 1 hurricane soon, and then eventually just becoming a remnant low. Now, something that is right over that area of shear is a tropical storm Idalia, which is, again, no longer a hurricane, 65-mile-per-hour winds. And notice that it's going to kind of fall apart here over the next 24 hours. Expected to become a remnant low, but then once it gets away from that shear and scoots down to the east-southeast, it could become a tropical storm again. But not going to be a threat to us. We'll still keep you updated on it and keep an eye. We also have a low chance for tropical development out towards the central portion of the Atlantic. Nothing to be threatened by right now, and then a high chance for tropical development off the coast of Africa. There's another spot that has a low chance for tropical development just west of that. None of this is threatening us right now, but all places that we're going to be keeping a close eye on as we head throughout the next week. Let's take a look at the tropical timeline. Again, we are in the most active time of the season, climatologically. The last 2 weeks of August, first 2 weeks of September are when some of the most historic storms have hit the United States, and we're right in that time frame. So September 10th is climatologically the peak, the climatological peak rather, and then by the time we get to November 30th, the season ends. We should start to see things really calm down by the end of September and into early October. Something though that we'll still have to watch, because remember, it only takes one system for you to think, wow, man, that was a really active tropical season, because if it impacts you, it really does seem like that, right? So we'll keep a close eye on all the systems out there throughout the rest of hurricane season. So we now have Jose taken off the list. That is the latest name to be used for the 2023 Atlantic hurricane season. You see, we still have a lot of names left to go. Hopefully we don't move further down the list too much, because we don't want these tropical systems too bad. They're good for the environment and the ocean to transport heat, but also we don't want them to hit land. So if they could just stay out to sea, that'd be the best case scenario, right? We'll keep an eye on all of that. Let's talk about what we can actually experience here at home, here in North Georgia, as we head throughout the next few days. Forecast track again showing us staying drier. Temperatures into the 80s for highs this afternoon, overnight tonight. Temperatures dropping to the 70s, maybe a little bit of shower activity, mainly south of I-20. And then we move into the afternoon on Friday, going to be a little bit of cloud cover, and temperatures will still be rising up into the 80s. Moving into Saturday, starting off with a little bit of clouds, a little bit more sunshine for the afternoon, and the heat is going to start to make a little bit of a return there. Take a look at the next 5 days. No rain chances out there. It is going to be drier for us. If we do get any rain, it would be an overnight event there again, maybe into the Friday time frame, but really that's going to be south of the I-20 corridor. And look at how much rain we get over the next 7 days. We're talking about less than half of an inch across the region. Most spots here in North Georgia, I think, are going to make it through the next week without a drop of rainfall. So that just lets you know it is going to be really dry. And we have a few patchy spots of abnormally dry conditions here in North Georgia. Far North Georgia, you see stretching up towards the Clayton area, looking into southern portions of Fulton County, and then stretching a little bit further down to the south there, we still have some abnormally dry conditions. And then just south of Troup County and Meriwether County, we also have some abnormally dry conditions. So yeah, we need a little bit of rainfall in some spots, because we still do have a little bit of abnormally dry. We want to make sure that goes away so we don't slip into any drought. But for this next week, again, we are going to get drier and a little bit hotter. That ridge is going to start to scoot over our region. When we talk about a ridge of high pressure, like what you're seeing right there, there's that little ridge. It means that we are going to be dealing with hotter conditions and drier. And that's going to stick around even as we head into the middle of next week, but then it starts to scoot off towards the west as we head into the end of next week, and we may start to see some better rain chances start to return there by the end of next week. So the next 5 days, I told you what a ridge means. It means that we are going to be drier and hotter. Temperatures rising into the lower 90s for highs by the time we head into the early to middle portion of next week. The average high, 87. We are going to be above that by the time we head into Monday and Tuesday, getting back into the 90s for highs. Of course, the heat is nothing strange to us right now. We have been dealing with a lot of hot conditions over the last month, the last 30 days, showing that we've had a majority of those in the 90s, sometimes like way up there, rising up to 99 just a few days ago. That's the hottest temperature that we have had so far this year. That was on August 26th. Then on the 27th, we hit 97. So a lot of hot days from July through August, but now we're moving into that time of year where typically the temperatures get a little bit lower. Let's hope we continue to see that trend. Taking a look at the humidity by each day over the next few days, you know, it's not only going to be hotter and drier by the sense of no rain, but also going to be a little bit drier by the fact that the dew point has gone down a little less humidity for especially Friday and Saturday. Going to be pretty comfortable outside, so get out and enjoy that. Your month-to-date rainfall continues to show that we are above average for the month on rain. Notice that we're at 5.24 inches for our month-to-date rainfall so far, and that means that we're going to finish up August because remember, you know, we're on our last day here. So we are going to finish up this month above average on rainfall. So we are still behind on the year. The big reason why is look at a few of these months here. You look at July, we had less than 2 inches of rain, nearly only 1.5 inches of rain in May. Some of these months have been really dry. We were 2 inches behind on February, and these months were so dry that it has caused us to kind of stay at a deficit for the normal year to date. So we just saw this number again. We are behind for our normal year to date. Covington is also behind, but we have some spots that have picked up a ton of rainfall. They are way ahead, like Athens, nearly 10 inches ahead on rainfall for the year. And then when we look at Rome, it seems my graphics just skipped forward. You have to excuse that, bumping it back to Rome, showing that we are almost nearly 10 inches ahead on rain for the year there as well. So let's take a look at our 7-day forecast. Again, we're not going to get much rain this next week, barely anything out there. We do have a slight chance for rain that's for today, the mainly overnight time frame, I think later and into this evening. Chesley chose today as his pick of the week, though. You see that as we head into Saturday and Sunday, temperatures are going to be rising into the mid-80s for highs. And then as we head into early next week, temperatures back into the lower to mid-90s. Now, at the early to middle portion of next week, we get hot, and that trend looks like it's going to continue from day 8 through day 14. Your 8 to 14 day outlook showing that we'll have above average temperatures, possibly in the 90s there. Again, that would be above average for this time of year. The average is 87. And then we take a look at the rainfall outlook. It also looks like we'll be around average to just below average on rainfall. So those drier conditions may continue, likely from, again, hotter and drier. That ridge may be what's impacting us there as we head into the middle portion of September. Taking a look at your weekend getaways, if you're planning any big trips this weekend, Destin's going to have a little bit of stormy weather. Looking out towards Gatlinburg, they're going to be drier. Great weather up there with those temperatures in the mid-80s. Maybe great weather to go hike the Chimney Tops Trail or anything like that. Maybe a few waterfalls. Great weather there. Charleston, South Carolina, looking nice there along the eastern coast. You see Savannah nice as well. Hopefully they have everything cleaned up from the little bit of storm that they had to deal with Idalia. Of course, it wasn't as impactful for them, but hopefully everything's cleared up so they can have a nice weekend. And also, if they do have any cleaning up to do, this weekend's going to be great for them. Lake Lanier also going to be a great spot to be as we head throughout the weekend. Taking a look at your Peach State outlook. All across the state of Georgia, looking like it's going to be pretty nice over the next 3 days. It's nice to be able to say that. And then you see the Georgia State Park forecast if you're doing any hiking tomorrow. A little bit of cloud cover, but should still be a beautiful day. So I'm going to bring back up the 7-day forecast. Don't forget that you can get this forecast whenever you have the 11 Alive app on 11alive.com and on our newscast every morning and night. Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb will be on this evening with the latest update to the forecast. Be sure to tune in for that. He's going to be in just a moment, getting everything ready for the forecast. And of course, we'll keep you updated anytime in between. Have a wonderful week ahead and weekend. We'll keep you updated on everything right here at 11 Alive.